This video is sponsored by Bamboo Lab. These are my cats Ralph and Bella, and I want to turn them into golden statues, plus 3D print loads of other useful objects, including cat toys, cat accessories, and action figures.
Number 1.
I often do stop motion using these, Scrabble tiles. Well, I want to print giant ones, spelling out Ralph and Bella to go in their new Catio. I loaded in beige and black filament for it to print simultaneously, and it did such a good job that I don't even think you can tell they're 3D printed. Seriously, these make me want to print a giant cutting mat and do some giant stop motion someday. Ralph and Bella seem to like them too, so they're gonna make a perfect addition to the Catio. I drilled holes and 3D printed some small circles to mount them with. So I'm in here putting them on the wall, and Bella's come to see what I'm doing. What do you think, Bells? She is very nosy. I then glued each tile to the circular mounts, and it was really nice not to have to be precise or level since I wanted them wonky. And voila! I still have to build all the shelves and whatnot, but the Catio's now definitely not as boring as it was.
Number 2.
A few years ago, I noticed tiny teeth marks on all my plants, so with the help of a collar camera, caught Ralph in the act. Anyway, I want to grow him a cat-safe plant he actually can eat, cat grass. So found and printed this really cool log plant pot. It's finished and it's always so exciting seeing how these turned out. Wow. I poured in some soil, sprinkled the seeds, gave it a thorough watering, and 1 week later, it looked like this. Bella's never really been one for plants, so I didn't expect her to be interested, and she wasn't. But Ralph? Well, he wasn't interested either. He gave it a perfunctory sniff, and then laid down next to it. You gonna try it, Ralph? I tried putting it in one of the cat tunnels to see if I could pique his interest, and this time he gave it a bit more of a sniff, then left. The same thing happened at night. But what was really cool is that this stuff grows so fast you can actually see it. Let's just toggle between those clips. That is wild. The following night I tried indoors and Ralph ignored it once again. But just look how quickly it grows. Another week went by and I'd all but given up, but then I heard the most adorable chomping sound. He did a lot of chewing and contemplating. I think he thinks I'm mad at him for eating my plants, despite this one being explicitly for him.
Number 3.
Something really cool about 3D printing is you can make stuff that otherwise just doesn't exist. For instance, I want to put the litter tray in my understairs cupboard so it's out the way and contained, and I wanted one of these cat doors you can buy online. However, they don't make one big enough for Bella to fit through with her donut, and the printer I've been using so far, the Bamboo Lab P1S, isn't quite big enough either. Well, luckily Bamboo Lab have just released the H2S, a 3D printer with a giant bed enabling a giant print volume. It has a quick swap nozzle for ease of maintenance, and this thing on top, the AMS2 Pro, which can hold up to 4 colours of filament, and can even detect humidity and dry it, especially important for certain filament types. I then upscaled the cat door model in Bamboo Studio, and hit print. What I love about Bamboo Lab is how incredibly user-friendly their printers are. You don't need to be an engineer, they're very simple to use. I've been wanting to get into 3D printing for a while, and after doing some research, I actually reached out to them about this sponsorship, and it worked a treat. I then traced a hole and tried to cut it in place, but frustratingly it was too wobbly. I had to take the door off its hinges, cut it outside, then rehang it and install the cat door. But will Bella fit? Yes! And it's so cool being able to make something custom like this. This is a brand new litter tray, so the cats go in there, and then I can lift the roof, it's on a hinge, to access the actual litter tray itself. But it's got this pot on the side, and it comes with the scoop to go in there. But when it does, the lid can't close. So I 3D printed one. And this one fits perfectly.
Number 4.
Everything I printed so far has been terribly sensible, so next we're going to print some silly things, starting with cat-sized Crocs. Ralph was exceptionally patient and easygoing. I thought he'd hate them and I'd have to cut this part from the video, but he obviously values fashion. Oh dude, look at you buddy. Wow, look at you Ralph, you're wearing Crocs. That is very cool. That's something I thought I'd never see, a cat wearing Crocs. Should we take him off then? There we go. And this one. Good boy, thanks for going along with this. This next silly thing I'm gonna get loads of use out however, a cat vomit wet floor sign. I won't show you because it's gross, but I've already had to use it twice. Bella, I was trying to film that and you've just pushed it off camera. Then I decided to print some cat-themed fidget toys. First was a paw-shaped push thing, which looks really cool, but was not very fun. That's literally all it does. So then I printed this fidget toy, which was very fun, but has nothing to do with cats. So finally I found a middle ground. See, Ralph's brother Tom was known as Long Cat, for how extraordinarily long he was. So this is a very long cat fidget toy. So this is the front, this is the back, and the middle, it's just a big old slinky chain. It was intended for me, but Bella loved it, which gives me an idea for...
Number 5. Ooh, this one glows in the dark.
This time I'm going to print a cat toy made for cats. A stick with a chain and fish on the end. These are Bella's favourite type of toy. At 16 years old, she's not quite as sprightly as she used to be, which is understandable, but I've learned the best way to get her playing is to hide the toy behind an object, out of sight. And sure enough, she was butt wiggling and pouncing in no time, having apparently completely forgotten her age. It was lovely to see, even if a little rusty. But soon she was pouncing like a kitten. That's so adorable. I love Bella so much. But then I had another idea. This is glow-in-the-dark filament, and I reprinted the toy using it. Wow, Bella. Is she gonna play with it? Nope, she's very scared of it. Wow. Okay, that didn't work out, but that is incredibly cool.
Number 6.
For number 6, I'm going to print another actually useful thing, a brush. It printed in several parts, which I then had to assemble, before trying it out on one very hairy cat. Needless to say, he loved it. Ralph adores being brushed, even stretching out so I could reach the good spots. I've got water in my phone, so the microphone's not working properly, but I can assure you he is purring very loudly right now. This went on for several minutes, and it's fair to say the brush was a massive hit. You want to keep going.
Number 7.
Everything in this video so far has just been a downloadable file I've merely printed. See, Bamboo have this online resource called makeover, a free online library of literally tens of thousands of prints. You can search for anything and there'll almost certainly be something for you. Just download, hit print and sit back. It's wonderful. But for these last two, I want to make something custom myself. Specifically, I want to turn my cats into action figures. I took these drawings I did a few years ago of Lord Ralph and Lady Bella and ran them through some software that converted them into 3D models, as if by magic. The printer then did its thing, and after taking embarrassingly long to pry it off the plate, I showed it to the disinterested and much larger real Bella. I then printed Ralph and sprayed them both with plastic primer before it was time to paint on the details. Both figurines were very small and very fiddly, and I'm by no means a painter. But I tried my best and I'd like to think I did an alright job. I did not do an alright job. Bella was definitely the more difficult of the two, with all her stripes and details. Actually, they were both really difficult, and I'm not even going to insult the cats by showing them these.
Number 8.
Finally, I want to make these far bigger, and rather than tiny action figures, I want them to be life-size golden statues, because then I can spray paint them and not mess them up. I know this is reduced to a 10-second time lapse, but each print was a mammoth 16, that's a hard thing to say, but each print was a colossal 16-hour undertaking. The Ralph time lapse is a bit flickery, because I was really excited and kept turning the lights on to check on its progress. It's finished! This is glorious. I'm gonna try and take him off now. This is really hard to do one-handedly. The results were spectacular, and whilst Ralph seemed a little done by now, Bella at least gave hers a headbutt. Once again I primed the statues, careful to reach every nook and cranny. Then it was time for the gold. First I sprayed the undersides, again careful to get in all the crevices, then stood them up and sprayed them as thoroughly as possible. I know with spray paint you're supposed to do little and often, ensuring the paint isn't so thick that it drips, but I'm wildly impatient. It's so shiny and it looks so much better than the mini statues. Then it was Ralph's turn to be goldified, or engoldened, or I guess gilded, and my thoroughness again came at the expense of consistency. Still, they looked magnificent, but would they receive the royal seal of approval? Bella was up first, and didn't immediately headbutt it, which is unusual. But it didn't take long. I mean, it's a golden statue in her honour. Why wouldn't she love it? But then she sat down, entirely blocking my view of it. Ralph wasn't all that bothered, although he did headbutt the floor next to it if that counts. He's a little harder to impress than Bella, but did eventually show some interest before cartoonishly tiptoeing away. I'll take it. Once again, a huge thank you to Bamboo Lab for sponsoring this video. They make 3D printing so easy and accessible. The H2S really is a game changer. I couldn't have made these giant statues without it. Bamboo Lab's Black Friday is coming soon. Check their site for exclusive deals and a chance to win prizes.